Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 1 of the anime series, Psycho Pass 2. That is correct. We finally are delving into the second season of Psycho Pass, and I couldn't be more excited, basically because we're beginning with a crash, boom, bang. Not that all unlike what we had with the pilot episode of the first season, the biggest glaring difference being that Akane, whereas she was very much the new blood as the show began, she is now very much the lead inspector, and she owns that role in this episode. She's gone through a thorough evolution, essentially, and I think there were some words that basically described this as being a year and a half into her command over a new set of enforcers and stuff. We have some returning characters, too, as well. But the interesting thing is, coinciding with the plot of this opening episode, to do with the construction worker who is, his hue had gotten clouded, his psychopath levels had raised, and he took to basically leaving booby traps and bombs, C4 explosives, that kind of thing, things that he was very well accustomed to dealing with, as traps basically to lead out the investigators and kind of take them down, his own particular way of rebelling against the civil system and being upset with the idea that in this society people are sort of shoehorned into certain lifestyles and that kind of thing. And so we have an Akane who, intriguingly, is almost, in step with him every step of the way. She's very intuitive, and she even leaves not only her own enforcer group scratching their heads from time to time by how commanding she is, but even the second division that comes in as backup is kind of like, what is she doing, and kind of gets both of those divisions at odds a little bit. And it's intriguing to me that she's kind of accepted the civil system, what it is, what she found out about it in the first season, but she's also kind of trying to manipulate around it. She gives this guy, chances to the nth degree, and basically is very, again, using that word, intuitive in understanding that this guy doesn't have to be lethally dealt with. He could probably be rehabilitated if he is given time to rethink what he's been doing and somebody talks to him on his level. And that's what basically transpires by the end of this episode. So that is an interesting story arc, to say the least. But I think the most fascinating aspect of this opener was being introduced to her enforcer team. We have some returning characters in the form of Genozo, which was kind of weird, being used to him being the boss in season 1, and here he is as an enforcer underling with everything that happened to him and his father and everything in the first season. You have Yayoi basically back and still being the silent enforcer that she is. Shion is still sort of the brains back at headquarters. And then we have newer characters like Shohi Nakawa, who kind of reminds me of this season's Kagari, if you will. We have Sakuya Tagane, who it just really is giving me the Shinya Kagami vibe, He is kind of integral toward the end of the episode when Akane's talking down this construction worker. It's some of his words as well that kind of shift this guy's attitude so they don't have to just off him completely and that kind of thing. And but the biggest standout character in this episode by the end is Miko Shimasuki, who is a carryover from the previous season, but she, became an investigator. She was actually a victim of crimes at the Oso Academy, and now she is part of this enforcer group. The thing is, she's calling into question Akane's decisions, even going so bold-facedly to call her wrong for what she's done with this, construction worker by the end of this episode. And that was like the biggest WTF and a point of excitement for me, because we have contention between the ranks. She is very much in the guise of Akane, what Akane was in that opening episode, the new blood on the team, and she's been working with Akane for I think a year and a half is what she said. But she's still not used to the directives and the carrying out the procedures that Akane is doing, very intuitive as she is. And Genoza kind of has like an off comment about, oh, you get used to it, but no, apparently Miko is taking issue with it. And that's going to be a very intriguing aspect as we unfold. Now, I don't know how much, if anything, is going to call back to the previous season. I know there's a Psycho-Pass movie coming, which may fill in the blanks. I don't know exactly, but I'm excited to see where the series is going to go. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below if you saw the first episode, if you agree, if you're excited by it as well, or if it left you falling flat. Otherwise, I hope this video finds you well. I'll catch you all later. Peace.